Lambers.
Here.
Nieves.
Here.
Berlinski.
Here.
Shea.
Here we go.
Here.
Okay. Ike, I'm also here.
Nightmare. I don't know where the meeting is and I'm late for it.
And we have a quorum. First order on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from the June 1 meeting. I read them over. I didn't see anything that didn't make sense.
Well, if you read them, I'm happy. I'll move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
I like it coming in hot.
All those who, oh, this is kind of cool. All those who approve, say aye.
Aye.
All those who approve, say no. There are no no's. Meetings, I'm like, that's kind of weird, meeting. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is meeting for public comment. Unless Dan, who is not the public, would like to say something, we can just roll right through that. So the first order is unfinished business, and that's for the COA for 261 Van Raalte, and that was Bob and Nancy Schulze. And that was the part of their request that had to do with replacing the windows. In talking with Anna and Mallory, what I understand is that Bob has requested, the Schulzes have requested that we table it again while they're trying to determine what they would like to do with the windows. There was a suggestion made to withdraw that part of the COA, and they did not want to do that, so they wanted us to just table it. And in reading through, we didn't find any reason why we couldn't table multiple times. But at some point, it'll, I would probably suggest that if they don't have something for the next meeting in August, that maybe we ask them to withdraw and come back when they're ready, because their COA right now, or what they had requested, in order to gain a COA isn't really actionable for them, and we didn't feel as a commission that it, that what they wanted to do was appropriate for the historic nature of the home. So it'll really look like a brand new submittal from them, but they're just not ready to go through that process yet, so they'd ask that we table it one more time. So I think we just have to make, someone has to make a motion to table, right? Well, we should have made a motion, I guess, to pull it off the table.
Yes, yeah, off and then put it back.
All right, so would anybody like to make a motion to pull it off the table, since I already talked about it?
Yes.
I'll second.
Thanks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. There are no no's, so now it's off the table. So anyone want to make a motion to put it back on the table, or to table it again?
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I get paid per motion or not?
I don't know. In beers.
Okay. Thank you.
All those who approve say aye.
Aye.
All those those who do not approve say no. I also say aye, so it is now tabled again. All right, so what's next on the hit list?
Next, we have
I think there were some staff approvals.
expected election.
Oh, election of officers. I have no idea what to do with this, so
I think it's nominations. So who would you want to nominate for your chair and vice chair?
Who are some of us expiring? Is that where we're?
So it's an
No.
annual thing, so every July.
So even though-
You can be it again if you want.
Good.
even though we
Yeah.
don't expire, I think I've got 2 more years
okay.
until my second 3-year is up. But
Yeah.
but the officers every year
Okay.
get it we go through the process every year for officers,
Okay.
regardless of whether somebody is staying on, regardless of whether their term is expired.
If you'll stay, I'll stay.
Unless anybody else wants to do it, I'm not.
Yeah, don't let us steal anything.
Yeah.
I'm looking around the table. I mean, I'm not,
Everyone's like,
like, no one's going to hurt my feelings if they
Same
want
here.
to take a whack at it, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mark spoke.
Yeah, Mark nominated Kim.
I mean, if you're willing to do it another year, Kim? I mean, are you willing to?
I'm willing to do it
Yeah,
another
yeah.
year, but I don't want,
No, I-
you know, it's if somebody,
No,
if
that's
someone's like,
fine.
I really want to do that,
Sure.
then I want somebody to have the opportunity to do it.
Appreciate that.
Very good of you.
Kim, you're good at it.
I'll support the motion.
I'll second.
Can I,
What?
oh, do I have to do
You're
something?
right.
I don't know.
No.
Make it-
I was gonna-
To do something here, I know we do.
I was going to nominate
Yeah.
John, though, as vice chair, unless somebody else wanted vice chair. That would be my.
Same deal, sure.
I'll
you
second
willing?
that.
Yes, I am.
She's
Okay.
like, what is-
But first I have to make faces.
She's like, this is really cool.
And nobody else wants to do this. Okay, because seriously, my feelings would
She's
not be.
not that bad to work with, really. She's not.
I think you guys are good.
Fine.
So then you want to close nominations and then go ahead and vote for your positions.
Can I just close nominations, or do I have to does somebody have to make a motion to close
Someone has
nominations?
to make a motion.
I'd
There are
move to
no
close
nominations.
nominations.
I'd second.
Okay, so all those in favor of closing nominations say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. I also say aye, so nominations are closed.
Just make a motion to accept the slate as.
Nominations is,
Do each one, or just do it as
Just do
one?
each one.
Okay, so somebody has to make a motion that, I can't, that's the one thing about this role, is you will never make a motion again if you're in this role. Because some of that might be a positive for some of you.
I know, it's funny, we're all kind of like,
Mhm.
oh.
So what are we moving now to?
Someone has to make a motion to approve the slate for the chair position, and then someone has to second, and then there's a vote, and someone has to make a motion to approve the slate for the vice chair, and then someone has to second the motion and then approve, or make a.
I move that we accept the slate for, is that right? I'm saying? Or accept the slate for the chairman.
Chair position. Mhm.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. So motion carries. So,
I'll move to approve the slate for the vice chair.
I'll second.
all those who approve say aye.
Aye.
All those who do not say no. Motion passes.
Congratulations again, you two.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations,
All right, Vivi, Vice Boss. Okay, on to the next, administrative approvals, 334 Washington Boulevard.
Yeah, so at 334 Washington Boulevard, we had the request for 2 exterior vents, one for a new shower, and then for the dryer that they're putting in, it's at the back of the house, sort of where they're keeping their trash cans right now. Both Dan and I looked it over, it seemed very simple, and so we went ahead and approved them. There were sort of pictures, I believe, sent along with the packet. If you'd like me to pull them up now, I can find them.
I don't think so.
I would.
Did they
Like a
paint
good
their
plan.
windows?
Yeah.
And stuff? Because the house looks really nice. I
Yeah.
literally just drove by it and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, we've done some work there.
Aren't they the ones that did the porch, redid the whole
Yes.
porch and
Yeah.
Isn't it Spring Sweet's house?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Mhm.
I remember that was a big discussion about where the fireplace was located and the
Oh, yes.
size of the columns.
Yeah.
You had reviewed past vents that had been approved and kind of to get a feeling for how to treat this one. So yeah.
Good. Committees and staff report. There is none. This might be the fastest meeting ever.
Wow.
Is there any, have you got any kind of an idea of, I'm just surprised that we don't have more.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
why you're.
Yes, very surprised.
Yeah, like shockingly surprised. I really don't think we've busted through a meeting this fast in the.
Ever.
Possibly
Are
ever.
we getting less building permits too, or, no, I mean, that's a
Even
very
for
good.
the price of
But they just
all
aren't in the
materials?
district?
Happen to be in the historic district.
Okay.
I had 3 different people reach out to me, but none of them turned into COAs or it was just answering questions. Even 334 Washington Boulevard came in after the application deadline,
Mm.
so that was a more recent one. Been a little quiet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really unusual.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
well,
not to take any more time significantly, but a thought I've had before is, could we develop a packet of information that goes to the listing agent of a house in the district? We even had a realtor come forward to us and ask if she, or volunteered to do that, to kind of track when a listing comes on the market and then take the packet over to the agent. And she lives in, I'm not sure she's in the district, but Tansy Habsburg, she lives on 11th Street. And I'm not sure what happens to the line over there. She may not be in the district, but she did volunteer, and she wouldn't have to be the only one, but it just strikes me, that in the past, we've had cases where legitimately or not, people have said, oh, I didn't know it was in the district, or I didn't know I had to do anything special. And if they didn't have a reason to come and see Dan, then, there was no one to say, hey, by the way, we need to take a look at this. But it struck me that we have that really nice study that proved that being in the district was valuable, and it would just be, it would spin it in the positive way. Say, congratulations, you've listed a house, or you're about to buy a house in the historic district. Here's what you have protecting you, and here's why you were wise to buy in the district. Or I don't know. Could we just kind of put that on the back burner as something we could do sometime? Okay.
I think that's a really great idea.
We did have a run, it seemed, maybe it wasn't last summer, it might have been the summer before, where there were a lot of, I didn't know I was in the district. It felt like there were a handful that had come in kind of all at the same time, or over that summer, where people just were not aware of what the requirements were.
I think the 261, the Nolte was that way. At least I remember him being quite surprised that when we talked about those windows, it was like, well, why can't I do that? I mean, just really surprised at the idea that he couldn't just put in vinyl windows.
And he had lived, he had come for a COA earlier for a pergola that they put in their backyard before, and
For the same house or a different?
same house.
Oh.
And the fence, there was a COA for the fence because there was a low fence that went around there, so he was aware. He had been in front of us a couple times, but I think
Because I thought he just bought this house.
no, he's had it for a couple years.
Oh, okay, all right. Misunderstood.
I think like it was maybe 2 years ago, we had talked about doing like an open house type style where we were all available, and then we invited local realtors to come in and ask us questions and familiarize themselves with what the district entailed. I don't know if that's something we'd consider.
Well, I think if we got the packet together and then had that available at that kind of a meeting.
Yeah.
And say, here's this. And,
Yep.
And I think the other thing maybe would be if somehow, I don't even know if this is possible, but when people do property searches, if something showed up when they did that this is in the historic district, then.
They need to list that in the body
There's
of like the
definitely,
descriptions of
you're
homes
right,
that are being
it's
sold.
part
That's
of
what
the
needs to
historic
happen.
district, and
Yeah.
there's a link to what it,
Yeah, exactly.
If we had a realtor here, I would ask them if a new field could be added. Where
You're
that
talking
would
Yeah.
about the multiple listings.
Yeah, in the
We're
MLS.
talking about, I think,
Oh, yeah.
the property search in the city.
Okay.
Where you're
It-
looking at the record in the city.
Our city records,
Like, you
sure.
wanna see the
Okay, yeah,
taxes.
good point.
That would be
That-
cool though.
I
if they
thought
did
it was
have
in
that.
there.
It should be.
I feel like it is. I think there's a disconnect when people are looking for a home, that being, and it's in the Holland Historic District. So it's within an area. It's like saying it's in the blah, blah, blah neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
Instead of what, if
that
this,
means.
then that, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing, is that if it was some kind of a link that you could click on and say, here are some of the considerations for living in the district, and that there's great benefit, but there are some, whether you call them restrictions or approvals.
I like protections.
Yeah.
You gain
That's a
some
nice word
protections
for that.
in the
Yeah.
district.
Yeah.
Protect the value of your home.
Right, from you. No.
That's right.
Well, that's,
That's right.
That's not what I
People
meant to
like
say.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
And we still have
I stumbled upon a
Uh,
post that was in the Historic Preservation Professionals Facebook group a few weeks ago, and it was talking about this thing, but across the country, and there's lots of comments on how different municipalities handle this. There's some in Michigan that maybe we could, reach out to for
Wow.
benchmarking as well.
Yeah.
I know Ypsilanti, there was a person from there that was making comments. But it sounds pretty common that people do this and run into this very issue.
Mhm. Okay, didn't mean
Yeah.
to take extra time. I just thought, since we had it, we'd mention it.
Is there anything else that we need to have on the?
Anna, I'll send you this link.
Thank you.
And maybe the first step would be to come up with what would we want in the packet, besides that research or whatever. that can-
Study.
Study, right, that, and maybe a welcome letter, and then it was, to me, there used to be a little, I don't have it with me, but sort of a little pamphlet about the historic district that talked about the,
There's a couple,
yeah,
from a
so
few years
maybe
ago. but,
to
yeah.
at least get that stuff out and say, okay, here are some things.
And see if it's up to date. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe something has changed too, so.
Well, and we could always bounce it off a couple of realtors and see what else, what are the common questions you get asked when you've got a home that you're listing.
Mhm.
And do
related
you
to the district.
proactively tell people it's a great area, but again, that there are guidelines for, working on the exterior of your house, and that's the part that, of course, we run into, is that people think, well, they can just do whatever they want. and-
This was just a deck, or this was just a porch railing,
Yeah,
or just
wanted
something.
to put vinyl windows in.
Mhm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes, and we are adjourned at 5:20.